This is a few videos about a sound system upgrade for Dodge 2008 Magnum RT. I just want to list the components here and mention how it's going to go as far as the video goes. It will be choppy. I was just originally setting it up for my own use, for my own reference, so I thought I'd do a little narrative and whatnot so that people can follow it. It's not very good video work, but it should help you if you haven't done this before. So anyway, I'm using Kilmat sound dampening with a little bit of dynapad in there. This is the head unit, Kenwood Exelon. Stuff that goes with it, antenna adapter, a dash kit that comes from Crutchfield. I bought this from Crutchfield, so they're doing a little ready harness thing, connecting some of the harness for the into the head unit stuff, so I don't have to do it. Wiring interface, Kenwood remote. Why would I do a remote? I love the remote. Anyway, did a front camera, a rear camera. This is not really a rear camera. It's just a camera that you can use it. Oh, sorry, I meant the front. This is not necessarily just a front camera. It's front or rear, but I used it for the front. So, SoundSkins focuses the sound around the speakers. I got the RCA cables, the amp kit with the thick cable, the regular speaker wire, Stinger. I would recommend 70 feet just to be on the safe side. Alpine PDX V9 amp, and then two separate pairs of Rockford Fosgate T2652S. These are 6.5s. The car calls for 6x9s in all four spots, and almost nothing of any decency fits there. It's hard to find any good speaker that's going to fit there. Maybe the Alpine R's, although they don't really fit in the front. Crutchfield says they do, and they rock in there. You could make them fit. You could put a spacer, but quite frankly, I really recommend these. They're outstanding speakers for the money. I forget what they cost, $250 a pair or something like that, $300, I don't know. But they're really good speakers. That's what I would put in here, and they fit perfectly front and back. So that's what it is, and the first video won't look like it's makes any sense because all I did was start by saying, oh, I better keep track of this. So I was taking pictures of some of the pictures from the back hatch that I removed. I was trying to make note to myself what order I needed to restore the parts to, and as I was doing that, I said, I'll go ahead and do this as a regular YouTube video. So that first part won't make a whole lot of sense, but it'll get a little better. So thanks. Kind of getting to the stage where I'm going to start forgetting what I'm taking apart. These, of course, are the speaker covers, and you have to run the seat belt up through that little crack and get it lined up. And these clamp down in those little holes, and these slide into the little cover first, and boom. These two parts are for the rear back gate. Remember, this screw stayed in here, so I have 3 more of them. And this part goes on first, and then this one, I believe. And zip it around here. Use the back door with the remaining 3 screws. There you go, both parts in here. I'm going to put this guy on, and 2 screws go here, and the one up there, and the one over there. So anyway, there's that. And now I'm going to start removing some of this stuff because I have to be able to get to the wires. So and first of all, I undid this guy from here, just buttons over that. So I undid that button. This light is bad. Okay. All right. So, and I'm taking this screw off because hopefully going to remove this thing, but I don't know. We'll see, and I should be able to see some wires up through there. So that's what I'm doing now. So removing this thing, as I was pointing out, I have to take off that screw right there, and then there's a clip up here that you have to use a screwdriver on, press down to get the clip to release. And you can see it right there, it's released at this point. so you can pull it out. Well, when you're trying to get it out, you push down. Whoops, sorry. Well, trying to get the light in here at the same time. Let's see. Alright, stay. Alright, there you go. So you want to push the screwdriver down. Mine, of course, went through the hole. But anyway, you want to hit one of these sides and push this down, and then this will pop out. Until then, it ain't going to pop out. So anyhow, that's how you get this thing off. Okay, so having removed that leather post thing there, I took this screw out of here because it's attached to the frame. We're going to try to remove this, so I want to keep all the screws that are related to this in that same bag over there, and I don't want to forget this little guy. This is your typical screw, but it goes in here. So just want to keep that, and that's going to be in the leather pillar bag. And next, there was the same kind of screw in the back here, also going into the frame. And I don't know if there's any more over here, but that's what I'm removing. And like the rest of this car, there's usually a few of these screws holding plastic pieces in. And once you remove these, then you just kind of give them a yank and pull on those plastic tabs that hold the rest of it in. Looks like I need to remove that. I hadn't seen that before, so I got to take that screw out. And the other thing is, this whole thing appears to go up under here. Now maybe it'll just slide out. I was hoping not to have to take this upper piece off because this one goes over it. So this one would have to come over first, and then it also covers up some of the upholstery over here. So I really was hoping to leave this stuff intact, and that's what I'm going to try to do. If I can slide this out, hopefully putting it back in, I'll just be able to slide it up under there. So we'll see. I got to take this screw out. Okay, I took the screw out of here, and this one I'm taking a picture of because it was the first one that is longer. It's actually different than all those other little black screws, so we have to remember putting this back in. It'll be different. It'll be this one, and we'll also put it in the leather pillar bag. It appears that I have to take this back part off first because this is embedded in there, so I'm going to take this off, this, and then hopefully this back piece will come off. I can probably put some Kilmat underneath here as well. Okay, so this piece came off without any plastic inserts. This is interesting. And it's probably just as well that this is off because we're going to somehow need to run the backup camera and connect all the wires to that. And anyway, just as well that this is off. So we're back to this, and this will just start yanking on this thing until I find another screw that's in my way. Okay, so not wanting to take these pieces off here, this was covering this, so I just kind of pulled down it and popped a few of these. Let's see if you can see in there. You can see where those popped out, so that's enough to get this out of the way, I hope, and then I can just hopefully pull this out. Okay, it's tomorrow morning, nice rainy day in the neighborhood, perfect day to work on cars. So we got the screws all removed, including this last one, and then I just gave this a good pop, and a couple of these things popped, so that's good. Alright, so I popped this guy out, more or less. Pulled him out, We got this guy up here is held in place somehow. Well, this obviously is in the way. So the question is, can I lift this little plastic part up over that, or does this really, really, really have to be removed to get all this out? Okay, so decided to remove that guy. It's going to be an 18mm deep socket. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, so we got that off, that guy. And do a little something holding on in here. Okay, we got this guy that we have to take off, so I'll do that next. Alright, so this guy is ready to come off, but what I missed was a screw down in here. So it's right there, your typical Phillips, and that should do it. It seems really loose. So after I get this screw off, this thing ought to come off. Alright, so here's this guy. Stuff some stuff up in there. Gonna need a lot more than that. Anyway, the good thing about removing all this is if you wanted to make an adjustment on this thing to make a another speaker fit, you could. The problem with this whole speaker arrangement is the plastic comes right up through here and makes a bend right where my fist is, and a lot of times it's going to be too require a shallow speaker because of this plastic piece that is right here. And I saw earlier that I could unscrew this and put a spacer or something to lift this whole thing up a little bit, because you have some space, a little bit of space upward where the grill is. You want to create some space there, but to get to any of this other stuff, you really have to take this whole bracket off if you're going to make an adjustment to it. I just kind of gave up on that and decided to just use 6.5 speakers that would fit here and not even mess with 6x9s anymore, because even the Alpines that their R series are really close. You could use the R series in here. You just have to make a little adjustment to the plastic on the back side, I think, to make it fit. And better than some of the other videos I've seen where they had to put big spacers in here and all this stuff. And the reason is they had to raise it up because their magnets were hitting this plastic thing. But in the R Series Alpine, the magnet is internal and not surrounding. So it's a little small bottom, so it fit pretty well in here. But anyway, I just decided to go ahead and go for Rockford Fosgate 6.5s anyway. So anyway, now I can at least get to all the wiring. That's the big deal. And the other thing is this cavity is so undefined, and this cavity is different than the one on this side. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do to try to fill it in or put more of this stuff or what. I don't know. Anyway, but at least I can get to the wires now. Also meant to mention this guy that connected to the cigarette lighter in the back. It was a little bit of a bear to get off. You just push up on the black part. You can feel that it springs a little bit as you push it in. This part, push it up like that and it'll release it. Mine just, it required some tugging and whatnot, but push this in and then wiggle it out and it'll come out, hopefully. So, and this nice little rubber piece fell off from somewhere. Anyhow,